Never before, I think, in the history of our business have we been so confident about the power of leadership to help an ambitious person get to 25%. And that ought to give you all the confidence in the world. Because if your upline feels that good about where we are, you ought to feel like, duh, could I be one of those? So it's just a personal decision. So we're here to talk about registrations and how to register more people. But I want to start with the fact that it's all up here. This is not that complicated. Excess, you like pull that tab, and then you drink it. There's your product training for today. Okay? This is not complicated. We don't have to go through now the artistry things they're going to talk about, and apply it. But girls know that anyway. Girls have known that since they were 8 years old. They get it. They're just deciding on which brand, right? And it comes down to, what do I really want my life to look like? If I could start from scratch and somebody said, we will furnish the cash here, what do you want your life to look like? What kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of house do you want to live with? What kind of people do you want to hang around with? What kind of people do you want your kids and your grandkids to grow up around? And how do you want that to look? And when they're older, where do you want to go? And what do you want to do? And what kind of style do you want to live there? And how do you want to feel about your debt load? And all of those things. And you could decide that for yourself. That's kind of where we are right now, all of us in our thinking. Now, what stands between you and that is just putting this team together. That's all, and you can do that. Last night I was reminded again, time after time, the new Silvers came across stage, and they were all just as different as they could be. Some were old, some were young, some were tall, some were short. Some were real comfortable on stage, and some honestly were absolutely paralyzed. And didn't that give you confidence? They were at 25% last month, and you weren't. And they were paralyzed, and you're cool. That's disgusting, isn't it? Well, get over it. You can do that. You can do that. You got to get over it, and you got to get over you. And if there's something standing in between you and your success, let's just go ahead and do it, because we need you on stage. The team has done what it promised you it would do. It has delivered you a system that produces success. Now you need to do what you've promised the team. You need to succeed to your highest possible level so that other people can sit in the audience and see you and say, okay, that's it. That is it. That does it. Her? You've got to be kidding. Not her. Not him. Him? Come on. And some of you, other folks have been seeing you. They don't know you by name, but they've seen you. You're an old face at these conferences, and some of you are brand new. Some of you old faces need to walk across stage as new silvers and new platinums and new emeralds, because you'll give hope to everybody else. That's one thing about a team. Everybody on the team has a job. And whatever your job is, if it's just if you just love the enjoyment of being around the people and love to encourage and really aren't willing to be a 15 planner, we want you to keep coming and keep encouraging. You are important. You're important to us. You're important to the team. But if you want to move on, there's never been a better time. So how to register more people? It's an inside job. Are you really into the CDs? I mean, honestly, into the CDs. I told the Silvers the other day, just listening to the CEP, and I heard it again on stage today, is not enough. I want you all to get a top 10 list. The top 10 CDs of all times for you. And it may change from time to time. I don't want a top 20. I want a top 10. As soon as you get another favorite, something's got to come out of the top 10. Okay? I want you to have a top 10. And I want you to listen to that top 10 twice a month. Just listen to them over and over. I always hearken back to what Mitch Sala said about the tape, that's right, before CDs, the tape that he listened to over 200 times, and he began to know. He began to know. I also said to the Silvers the other day that we listen to a CD a couple of times for the knowledge, but a couple of times won't get it. How many of you feel like you're fairly bright? Okay, a few mistaken, but that's okay. It's good for you to believe that. No, it is good. It's good for you to believe that. And it only takes, honestly, all of the speakers speak at about a 6th grade level. And it's not because they're not bright. It's because they are good teachers. And they know for something to be duplicatable, it must be simple. And so they teach simply. You'll never listen to one of these CDs and say, "Phew, that was complicated." It's never complicated, never. 2 times you've got the knowledge, every one of you. And if I ask you what's on that, you could spit back the knowledge. But it's that 4th time, 5th time, 6th time, 10th time that you start believing the information. The knowledge of the information won't take you to the next level. Believing the information will take you to the next level. And a few of you just stop listening to the CDs too soon. You stop reading The Magic of Thinking Big too soon. It's that 8th time you read it that you start understanding what excuse-itis has done to your life. Chapter 3. How it's influenced you. How it's spilling over onto your team and onto your kids and onto your rest of your family. You haven't read it enough to get that yet. And so registering more people starts inside of us. When we get that burn and we get that belief, and CDs are coming out every pore of our body. Just coming out. You press your navel and a diamond. When you start talking like a diamond, thinking like a diamond, acting like a diamond, you'll start having diamond results. You don't get to diamond and then establish those habits and those character traits. You establish them and then you go to diamond because you establish them. So be a diamond now. Be rewarded like a diamond later. And the fun, by the way, the fun is not in getting there. The fun is in the journey. And all the great stories you're not going to tell. All the great stories that you're going to tell are not what happened after diamond. People will hear that and understand it and love it. But it's going to be all the things that happened to you on the way to diamond. Because when you get to diamond and you tell the way you live, Terry and I live a level of freedom that I know a lot of people really cannot relate to. Waking up in the morning and wondering, should we go to the beach or should we hang out here? You know, or do we want a new car today? If we do, just buy it. I bought 2 new cars last week. I know that drives men crazy. I brought some pictures. I just decided, I went and bought one on Tuesday, and then it felt so good that I bought one on Thursday. And so anyway, that's another story. But that level of freedom at some level is not relatable. But all the things you go through on the way to diamond are relatable. Remember the stories. Remember the stories. One friend of mine told me the other day she was working toward 15 plans and she went to show her brother and she just said to him, "Look, just do it as a personal favor." And he said, "No, I will not do it as a personal favor. I won't even look at it as a personal favor." I told her, I said, remember that. Right now that hurts. And I know it does hurt. It hurts for somebody that you care for to not care enough about you just to do you a simple favor that couldn't hurt them in any way. And it's ridiculous, and it's stupid, and it hurts. But you know what? There'll be a day to tell that story. And somebody in the audience, and she'll tell that story, and somebody in the audience whose name she will never know will be comforted because of that. Because they have an uncle or an aunt or a husband or a wife. And they needed to hear that story. But in order to tell the stories of your suffering, you must earn the right to get on stage. That's why we need you on stage. And that comes from being into those CDs and being into those books and trying to make of yourself the person you really can be. And it helps all of your life. You can't segment your life and say, I'm learning this for my marketing business. And that's it, just my marketing business. No, you can't do that. It'll make you a better mommy. It'll make you a better daddy. It'll make you a better husband, wife, aunt, uncle, a better church member. It'll make you a better community person. It'll just make you better. Because when you're better, you're just better. Right? You're just better. You're more empathetic. It will put you in a place where you can help people like never before. You will need to be better. Because the time when you need to be better is somewhere in the future, and you don't know where it is yet. There'll be a time when all those CDs you listen to because you want to learn how to sponsor more people, they're going to help you in a time of distress in your life that has nothing to do with registering people. And so I love a business idea that looks at the whole of a person and says, let's improve the person. The person we improve will be the business. You've seen me do this before. Maybe you new guys haven't, but it's an interesting idea. This, platinum, 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 platinum. And so you ask the question, what is that? And somebody says, it's a diamond. No, that's not a diamond. That's a diamond business. Here's a diamond. That's a diamond. This doesn't build this. This builds this. You be this, you'll have this. You build this, and if you are this, you will soon have this. Because your business will finally seek the level of your attitude. So you build a person first. All those great things will happen. Now, there's no charge for that. That's all just stuff that I wanted to say to you. Now, let's talk about registering more people. Get your head into your future. Who registers the people in your team is completely unimportant. I wish I never had to register another person as long as I live. Wouldn't that be great? The only reason why you ever register anybody is so you can drive depth. If you're building a team and the team is giving you plenty of people to work with, you don't need to register any people, right? Except to be a leader and show them that you can. And in most cases, you're adding people only because the leg gets stuck. Here's what you need to know. If this team ever gets stuck, if necessary, I could add 10 in a week. I have that knowledge. I have that feeling. I have that confidence. Now, you may need to from time to time. But if that team is growing like crazy, your job may be just to do meetings like crazy in here. Take this guy's list and add 15. Take this guy's list and add 20. Take this guy's list and add 4. Whatever. But if the team slows down or when it slows down, you add another one in there and keep that baby going. You want that team to keep moving. And as soon as you've built it so it's stable and you start that second team of yours, and then you keep adding people until you find somebody with burning desire, that was the previous thing we talked about, then you just drive that. So registering people is not a matter of just personally registering, but it's a matter of being an inspirational leader that can inspire other people to do the same thing. See, Terry and I personally registered 75 our first year in business. 75. Now, to some of you, that may seem like an awfully big number. It didn't to us. Why? Because we just talked to somebody every day. And some of them said yes, and some of them said no. What do you think would happen to your primary team if you added 75 to it in the next year? Is there anybody that believes it wouldn't be a 25% team? What if you added 75 and half of them were in the primary and half of them in the secondary? Any doubt in your mind that you would have 2 teams at 25%? You would, wouldn't you? Now, why did we do that? I don't know the answer to why, except it was all we knew to do. We didn't understand drive and depth. We didn't understand teams. But we understood if I knew his name and he would sit down, I could show him the plan. We knew to do that, and we did that. And we'd look at him, and here was our clothes. You getting in or not? It's not what Aldo recommends, but it's all we knew. Here's the point. When people ask me, Bob, my business is not growing fast enough, what am I doing wrong? The answer when we explore is typically this. You're not doing much wrong. You're just not doing enough right. Just pile it up, guys. I one time in my earlier life managed a congressional campaign for Congress of the United States of America. But I went to Washington, D.C. to the a council that teaches this stuff, and we had a seminar. There were about 40 of us from around the country who were managing congressional campaigns, and it was Congressional Campaign Managers College was what it was called. It was a 3-day deal. And the guy said, okay, let me show you who's going to win the election. And here's what he did. He drew this thing like this. And he kept drawing, he kept going, I won't do it with you. And he said, you know what that is? I said, no, I don't know what that is. He said, that's a pile of campaign. And he said, on election, the guy that's built the biggest pile of campaign wins. I got it. I understood that. That's your business. The one that builds the biggest pile of business wins. Just get out there. When you leave here with monomaniacal vision, and you just get out there and you just start talking to people. Some of you have been afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to do that. Walk up to somebody and say, look, I got a business idea. You open? And see what kind of response you get. If it's not the response you want, tweak it next time. All right, let me give you 5 points. How to increase your registration. Number 1, set your goal. Jim talks about nothing's accomplished unless it's measured. So set some goals. And then instead of setting goals to register, set goals to reach those things, and registrations will be a part of that. For instance, we've got some natural places to set goals. We've got in 90 days approximately, we've got this Washington, D.C. thing coming up. How many of you already registered for that, by the way? Okay, great. That'll be just 100% of the room. It's about leadership. It's about dedication. It's about making the decision. It's about getting out in front and being that kind of person. 90 days away. If you've got a business going that's 12% or something, you could be silver there. There is 90 days somewhere in your future when you're going to put it together. It all comes together in 90 days. Remember when Terry and I were putting our platinum together, we did 50 nights straight of plans. A plan every night for 50 nights. Now, that was difficult, not to do 50 night of plan, but to make sure we had an appointment booked for every night. We did them at night because we were busy in the day and people work at day. So every night for 50 nights. You have no idea what that did to the momentum for our team. We just never looked back. It actually took us all the way to Diamond. That momentum of those 50 nights. And then we took a couple of days off and then went back at it again. But if we work our business, we do 3 or 4 plans and then we don't do anything for a week or two. And then we do 3 or 4 plans and nothing for a week. We lose that momentum. So set the goals. Here's some goals I'd suggest to you. The monthly goal between now and then, of course, of being pace setter or double pace setter. If you're a 15 planner, then you're going to probably be a double pace setter. 300 personal points every month. You can do that. I think 100 points is just changing your point of purchase, right? I mean, honestly, how many of you are on double X? Okay, well, that's as expected. How many of you are on rhodiola? Okay, that's good. How many of you are on XS? I know, I love XS. Don't you love it? I used to like a Coke every now and then, because I just like the fizz and I didn't particularly like all the sugar, but I'd say it's worth it. But now I don't drink Cokes anymore, but I drink XS. I just tell you what I drink, what my schedule is. I drink one when I get up, whenever that is. It's usually pretty early because I like to get up early. So I go to my desk. I have a chocolate. I'm giving you really a peek inside my personal life here. I have a chocolate shake. One of the protein shakes. I shake that thing up real good. It's nice and cold. And I prop my feet up and I sit back in my chair and I drink it. And sometimes I look out the window and watch folks going to work. And it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And I drink that chocolate. And then I chase that with a citrus excess. And it gives me a sense of well-being. Then I work for a while, and then at noon I have another citrus excess. And about 2:30 or so, I have either a root beer, caffeine-free, or a grape, caffeine-free. And then at 4 o'clock, I have another citrus excess. And then I have either another root beer or grape, caffeine-free, about 6. And then 7 or 7:30 before I go do a meeting, I have a citrus. I'm into the citrus. I have the citrus excess. And I go through 3 or 4 cases a week, We have 3 fridges, and I keep them all full. And I just drink. That's what I drink. Now, how many points is that? You know what? It doesn't matter, does it? But it's a lot. So you're on the double X, you do the excess. That will determine then how much registration you need to do. Number 2 then would be create momentum. Activity. We just need more activity. Massive action. What's the difference between action and massive action? Yeah, well, the difference is action is what you think you've been doing. Massive action is what it's going to take. Okay? What's the definition of insanity? Keep on doing what you've been doing and expect different results. All right, so we understand that, right? So what we understand is if we leave here and do what we were doing before we came here, then in Washington, we'll be about where we are when we came here, which is okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just saying at some conference, you're going to leave and move from action to massive action. That's all I'm saying. Some people left that winter conference. Some people left there and started creating in January, February, March, and April massive action. And they came here with different businesses. And you've seen them go across stage as silvers, and that's what's going on. Why don't you go home and do a week of massive action? What about a week of massive action? And then when you finish the week, see if you got one more day in you. And go for like 8 days of massive action. And then reestablish that thing, and maybe you go for a 9th day of massive action. Maybe you get to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe a month of massive action. Here's what I think you're going to see. If you could create that massive action, I think you'll move ahead far enough that you'll look back and say, you know what? I like it better here than it was there. And you stretch the rubber band a little bit. You move up a little bit. And then you say, you know what? I think I can do another week of massive action. And you get on the phone like Ray said, Sunday afternoon. You make 10 or 20 more calls. You go over to your new guy's house. You help him, like Alda said, get on his cell phone, make 5 or 10 calls, set 6 or 8 appointments. Bingo, bingo. You've made another step in massive action. That works. 3 are registered there. You do a startup with those 3. One of them has a cell phone full of people. He says, yeah, let's call them. You call them. 4 of them say yes. They join you in business. Boom, boom, boom. You got more massive action. Now, who wants to have that happen and go back to where they were? Right? So we just got to do something that makes us hungry for more. Here's what I've noticed about eating. The faster you eat, the more you can eat. That's what I have noticed. And if you will have your dessert quickly, then you can eat more dessert. If you wait a while, you'll say, not that hungry, because you're not. You're full. But if your goal is to eat more, which a lot of times it's what I'm all about. I had a piece of carrot cake last night. I mean, it was that big. It was unbelievable. And I thought, I'll never eat this. But I ate it real fast, and I did. I got it all down. It was fantastic. It was just fantastic. So massive action. Number 3, work from others' list. I found out a lot of our guys were going out to the malls and being vultures at the mall, just trying to meet somebody and show the plan, meet somebody and show the plan. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But that is not your future. Your future is in meeting Jack, talking with Jack, getting Jack started, do a startup with Jack, get his list, help him sponsor 10. Add 10 to the team with Jack's list. Your future is not in your list. Your future is in their list. No matter how big a list you build, it's not as big as their list combined. Right? And so if you're having to meet everybody, now you may have to do that to get it going. But you shouldn't be doing that on and on and on. After a while, you should find somebody that you should be able to work from their list. Do a great startup. Create that energy. Get a big list. Call the people on their list. And do it often enough to get the calluses. If you just do a plan every now and then, or you just do a startup every now and then, or you sit with somebody and make calls every now and then, it'll always be uncomfortable. It's like me when I pick up my guitar. I don't play guitar very much anymore, but I keep a couple at the house. And when I pick it up every now and then, I do, and I'll play a little while. And you know what happens? My fingers hurt. You know why they hurt? Because those strings are steel. And you have to press them down in those frets. And it hurts. And I'll put it down. It hurts a little bit. And a week or so, I'll walk by the guitar, and I'll pick it up, and I'll play a little bit more. And it hurts again. And I'll put it down. In a week or so, I'll walk by the canal. I'll pick it up and on and on and on. Used to, when I was, that was what I did years ago. I played every day. I played hours every day. I played all night. Sometimes we'd start playing when it got dark, and we'd be playing when it got light the next morning, and somebody'd say, it's time for class, and somebody else would say, well, I'm too tired. Me too. And we'd rest a little bit, sleep all day. But that's a different story. But I got calluses on my fingers. I could pick the guitar up anytime and play for hours. Nothing, man. You didn't even feel it. My bicycle. If I'm off my bicycle for a while and I get back on it, I get a butt ache. You know what I mean? These are real narrow little seats, and they sit on the sits bones right there, because if you sit, I know some of you got a bicycle, it's got like a tractor seat on it. You can't do that. Your legs can't move on it. So you wear these narrow saddles, and you toughen up that part of you, and you get on your bike every day. You don't feel it. You can ride for hours. You don't feel it. You stay off of it. You get on it once a week, and the day after you get on, it hurts. So this is always going to hurt unless you do it. But if you do it and do it and do it, then you get calloused, right? Your butt gets tough, and you just get going, and good things happen. And somebody says no, and you say next. Instead of, I can't believe I said that. You just don't care anymore. It's not that you don't care about them. It's just that you don't see it as rejection anymore. You just see it as moving ahead. So ambitious and open-minded people always say yes to the appointment. And you'll find the right people. Number 4, show confident previews. Get a posture about you that says, this is not about me. This is about them, and this is about this marvelous business idea. This is not about me, it's about them. I'm just going to show this. Don't go into a preview and say, now here's what we're doing in our business here. No. Listen, I'm working with some really dynamite people. This is a system they've used. These guys are millionaires. This is what we're working on with them. And you show them, make the quality and the power the business. Don't make the quality and the power you. Don't try to be a guru, right? Be the one that connects them to the guru. You be the conduit. It will loosen you up. Here are the pieces of the presentation. You want to relax. You want to have conversation in the beginning to bridge into the preview. You don't want to just sit down and say, okay, look, here's what I'm talking about. The power is not in drawing something or showing them 16 pages. The power is in what can we help you accomplish. The single most powerful question in the entire preview. You see, you got what they want and you got the business concept, right? If what they want and the business concept remain separate, then they'll find another way to get what they want. But if you make what they want and the business somehow mesh, then the decision is, do I really want what I want? And if they do, then the business becomes their vehicle. So talking about their dream and thinking with them is very important. So we want a conversation, a transition, then the close, and then the registration. Don't be afraid to close. Just slide the paper over in front of them and say, look, we're sure you want to secure your position. Right over in front of them. And close often, close regularly, and ambitious and open-minded people will register. You'll get some questions, answer their questions. Questions are good. Don't be intimidated by questions. You'll get some smoke screens. Don't confuse questions and smoke screens. Smoke screens are just something people throw up because they want to act intelligent. You'll get some apathy. You'll get some lethargy. You'll get some laziness. Don't be confused by that. Don't worry. It ain't you, and it's not the business. It's them. They are apathetic about life. Don't worry about them. You have a goal. You have a dream. You're registering open-minded people. And then number 5, set the startup with the new people you start and make sure you get the list and you start working from their list. You are animals. You got the greatest business model in the world. It's a great business model. You've got the greatest business strategy in the world. And the business plan that you're going to be putting together with your upline will be custom made for you. There's nothing you can't do.